Hello and bienvenue to Life's Questions and Lessons. I am your host, Charity Youngblood, and I am so grateful that you are here with me today. This podcast is unedited because life is unedited. Now let's get started with our first question. Why is this emotion visiting me in this moment? Why is this emotion visiting me in this moment? So I was recently having a conversation with a friend of mine who is starting a project on loss and grief. And our particular conversation really centered around the loss of a dream. And I always had a dream to be a singer. I never in a million years thought that I wouldn't be doing anything else but singing, because to me, singing is like breathing. And it was something that took me many years, over 10 years to, release that dream. And I went through a lot of emotions, a myriad of emotions. And so I thought that this question was a really important question to bring to the podcast. And it kind of made me, not just in terms of the conversation, that the concepts that I was talking about just a moment ago, but we have this society, especially in the self-improvement community, to kind of disregard or discount our emotions that we would like to feel less often. So I'm talking about sadness, frustration, anger, shame, guilt, you name it, enter your emotion that you'd like to feel less often here. And a lot of times we want to jump into feeling better, feeling happy, feeling more joyful without really analyzing that particular emotion. So if you are going through a season of any of those emotions that I just mentioned, or an emotion or a few emotions that you really would like to feel less often, but that emotion is visiting you in a moment, I really challenge you to ask yourself this question in curiosity, as always, and definitely ask it with a lot more grace than maybe you would give yourself in any other situation. Every emotion has a purpose. And what happens is when we kind of shift into, or even really desire to jump into feeling more happy, feeling more joyful, feeling more energized, we really miss the lesson and the purpose of why that emotion is visiting us in that moment. So I really challenge you to take some time to think about this in whatever way works best for you, to really explore this question. One thing that came up for me over the past few years is I'm very, I'm used to being excited and happy and joyful. And it's extremely uncomfortable for me to feel sad. But I have, over just, the past week even, when sadness comes to visit me, I say, okay, why are you here? What is your purpose here? And I will either write, writing is definitely my most natural form of self-expression. So I love to write. But sometimes I'll walk outside and just look up, look at the trees, and, explore that question. Like, why am I feeling sad? I think we have to give ourselves and really hold space for those emotions, because they're not going anywhere, right? Number one. And number two, we have to understand why they are visiting us. There is a reason. You're not just sad because you're sad. You're not just sad because, you're not just frustrated because you're just frustrated. There is a reason. There is a lesson. So I really challenge you to explore those emotions in whatever way works best for you. And as always, and I'll say this again, please explore this question in curiosity and give yourself a little extra grace, because this can really pull up some emotions that, or I should say insights that you're maybe not really prepared to hear, but that you need. So that's the question I had on my heart today. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast wherever you are listening to my words. And if this episode was helpful for you, please share it. We are here on this planet to help each other. So if this episode was helpful, please share it. And until next time, take care.